Hello everyone, how are you? Hope all of you are doing well. My name is Ronit Patel. I am an English language trainer. In this session, we are going to talk about PTE Describe Image. PTE Describe Image is basically the third question type of PTE Speaking module. In this session, we are going to go through three different sections. In first section, I have provided basic explanation about describe image. In second section, we are going to talk about different approaches that we can incorporate while dealing with describe image. And in the last section, basically, I have focused on the vocabulary. I suggest you keep a notebook by your side so that you can jot down important points. Without any further ado, now let's directly cut to the chase. In this first section today, we are going to talk about one of the most score deciding tasks in the PTE speaking module, describe image. Many students think this task is about English vocabulary, grammar accuracy, or visual intelligence, but the truth is very different. Describe image is actually a performance task, a combination of visual interpretation, structured thinking, timed speaking, and AI evaluated fluency. This session is not ordinary teaching. It is a complete mastery framework designed to move you from confusion to controlled high score performance. By the end of this lecture, you will know exactly how the AI scores you, exactly what to say in 40 seconds, exactly which details to ignore, and exactly how to avoid zero score silence. So stay fully focused because today we are not just learning describe image, we are engineering your speaking score. Now let's understand the core scoring philosophy. Describe image measures two abilities at the same time. First is analytical ability, which includes interpreting visual data, identifying trends, and finding relationships. Second is communication ability. This includes logical organization, correct vocabulary, and fluent delivery. Notice something important. You are not rewarded for deep academic analysis. You are rewarded for clear, structured communication. So, even a simple interpretation spoken fluently and logically can achieve a high score. This is the first mindset shift. Fluent structure beats complex intelligence. This slide is extremely critical because describe image is not only about what you say, it is about when you say it. You receive 25 seconds for preparation, 40 seconds speaking time, and around 5 to 6 questions in total. But here is the most dangerous rule. Silence longer than 3 seconds equals to automatic zero score. This is called the kill switch. That means even if your English is excellent, even if your interpretation is perfect, hesitation can destroy your score instantly. So describe image is fundamentally a fluency control task, not a knowledge test. Students often panic because they don't know what type of image they are seeing. This slide solves that confusion completely. Images usually fall into five categories. First is data charts that includes bar graph, line graph, pie charts, tables. Second is spatial visuals, which includes maps, layouts, plans. Third is sequential diagrams that includes linear flow process charts, circular flow process charts, cycles. Then cyclical diagrams, life cycles, loops. Fifth is static visuals, photos or abstract scenes. Your goal is not deep explanation, your goal is clear structured description. Once you identify the image type, half the task is already solved. This slide reveals the hidden truth students rarely understand. AI scoring focuses on three components: content, fluency, and pronunciation. But here is the shocking insight written on the slide. Structured fluent delivery is more important than perfect factual interpretation. That means you can misunderstand small data details and still score high. If your speech is smooth, clear, and logically organized, you can get good score. So don't chase perfection, chase control fluency. This slide gives you a ready-made speaking template. Three parts. First is introduction. The given image is a type illustrating topic. Second is key points where you need to mention main trends and second visible feature. Third is conclusion where you need to provide overall summary and implication or message. Now why this template is powerful? Because such structure ensures logical sequencing, completeness and stable scoring. In high pressure exams, templates creates confidence. This slide teaches what not to describe. Students lose marks because they try to mention every number, every bar, every label, and every possible information that is present in the diagram. But it doesn't work that way. High scores focus only on highest value, lowest value, one key comparison, and overall trend. And we should try to ignore minor details. This is strategic speaking because in 40 seconds, selection matters more than knowledge. In this slide, I have explained exact time management formula. In 0 to 5 seconds, you should be able to identify title, axis, and context. In 5 to 25 seconds, you should describe 2 to 3 key features, major highs and lows, and clear comparisons. In last 15 seconds, give overall summary and fluent closing sentence. This timing creates smooth narrative flow without panic or silence. Think of this as your speaking choreography. This slide focuses on sound quality, which directly affects AI scoring. Oral fluency rules are no fillers like should be used, maintain moderate pace, and never restart sentences. Pronunciation rules are use correct word stress, use clear ending sounds like s and d should be perceptible, and use accurate numbers. Last, the golden formula fluency plus structure is more important than perfect interpretation. Always remember this. Very important. This slide exposes the four danger zones. First is data errors. Misreading X's or percentages can cost you your score. Second is structure trap that includes describing irrelevant small details. Third is flow breakdown, which consists of pauses, fillers, and silence. And last is technical mistakes, speaking before beep or breathing into mic. Okay, try to avoid all these. Avoiding these alone can dramatically increase your score. This slide teaches what to do when things go wrong. While you are providing response, if you freeze, do not restart. Use a general summary statement, jump directly to conclusion. Backup plan, just three sentences, intro, one trend, and summary. Even this minimal answer can still protect your score within the 30 to 40 second window. Something is better than nothing. This slide presents the core philosophy of success. Fluency plus structure is greater than perfect interpretation. This I talked about previously also. Your preparation must include memorizing universal template, practicing structured speech, recording and analyzing fluency, and using comparative vocabulary. This is systematic mastery, not random practice. And we finish with the most powerful truth. High PT speaking scores do not come from talent, they come from consistent targeted practice. When practice is structured, repeated, and analyzed, performance becomes predictable. And predictable performance creates near perfect scores. So, the final message I would like to give here of this entire master guide is consistency is not effort, consistency is success engineering. In this second section, we are going to talk about solving approaches in Describe Image. Now, many students think Describe Image is about knowing difficult vocabulary, understanding complex data, or giving a perfect academic explanation. But that belief is completely wrong. Describe Image is actually a strategy driven speaking task which tests how clearly you organize information, how smoothly you speak under time pressure, and how effectively you highlight key visual features. So, today's class is not normal practice. It is a complete solving system that will teach you the core principles behind scoring, multiple approaches for different image types, fallback survival methods if you panic, practice drills and training plans, and finally a test day checklist for maximum marks. By the end of this session, Describe Image will feel predictable, controlled, and easy. Let's begin with the fundamental truths of Describe Image. These principles change everything. Principle 1. Structure is more important than details. Students try to mention every number, but scoring rewards clear organization, not data overload. Templates and sequencing are far more powerful than random statistics. Principle 2. Macro to micro and conclusion. Your brain must follow three natural steps: giving an overall overview, mention important details, and end with a clear conclusion. This mirrors how humans understand visuals. Principle 3. Fluency is more important than accuracy. Even if numbers are slightly wrong, smooth speaking still scores higher than pauses and hesitation. This is extremely important. Principle 4. Focus on keywords. You only need 3 to 4 key features such as highest value, lowest value, trend, comparison, pattern, anomaly. That's it. So describe image is not about saying more. It is about saying the right things fluently. Now we move into the heart of the system, different solving approaches. Why do we need multiple approaches? Because not all images are the same. Some are simple charts, complex graphs, maps or tables, process diagrams, or random pictures. If you use one fixed method, you will struggle with unfamiliar visuals. But if you know multiple structured approaches, you can handle any image confidently. From this slide onward, we will explore each approach deeply and practically. Classic three-part approach. This is the safest and most universal method. You can use it for almost every image type. It has three parts. First part, introduction, in which you state the type of image and the topic. This gives the examiner instant clarity. Second is body. You highlight 5 to 6 key trends or features such as highest and lowest values, increases or decreases, and comparisons between categories. This shows analytical ability. Third is conclusion. Here you summarize the overall meaning or implication. This completes the logical structure. Why does this approach work so well? This is the default safety strategy for Describe Image. This slide demonstrates how the three-part structure works in real speech. Notice the flow. It has clear introduction, organized body with comparisons and numbers, and logical final summary. Also try to notice something subtle. The response focuses on relative differences, overall trends, significant gaps, and not every tiny number. This is exactly how high scoring answers sound. Now we move to the top-down approach, which is perfect for complex visuals like line graphs, pie charts, and multi-year trend. Step 1 is overall trend first. Start with the big picture. This reduces cognitive load immediately. Step 2, major features. Mention highest point, lowest point, and major growth or decline. Step 3, minor but interesting details. Only one or two, not multiple. Step 4, wrap up. End with overall direction or implication. Why is this powerful? Because it follows natural human visual processing. We always see the big picture first, then the details. That makes speaking easier and more fluent. Observe how this answer begins with an overall upward trend, then explains highest and lowest points, then mentions smaller fluctuations and ends with a positive long-term conclusion. This creates a story-like analytical flow which is ideal for AI fluency scoring. This method is ideal for tables, maps, pictures, and pie charts. Instead of analysis, you follow visual direction. Step 1, scan in order, left to right or clockwise. Step 2, describe sequentially. Use phrases like starting from the left, moving further, finally, and other similar phrases can be incorporated. This creates natural flow. Step 3, give summary. Always close logically. Why does this approach work? Because sequence prevents confusion and helps maintain fluency. This response clearly shows ordered movement around the pie chart, relative size comparisons, and a final energy use conclusion. So the key learning is order plus clarity equals to high fluency score. This next approach is your panic-proof survival method. Use it when the image is extremely confusing, time is running out, or your mind goes completely blank. The template gives you fluent sentences, general description, and safe conclusion. Even with limited understanding, you can still produce continuous speech. And remember, fluency is always better than silence. Notice how this answer uses safe general language, highlights broad trends, avoids risky exact numbers, and still it sounds clear and complete. This is a score saving strategy, not a perfect answer strategy. This method is best for process diagrams, maps, and real life pictures. You convert the image into a story sequence. First, then, after that, finally. This makes description logical, memorable, and fluent. Humans naturally understand stories, so speaking becomes easier. This example beautifully shows clear beginning, logical middle transformation, final result, and meaningful wrap up. This is exactly how to describe process diagrams effectively. This method is powerful for bar charts, line comparisons, and yearly data. You focus on three things only. First is extremes, highest and lowest. Second is comparisons, differences between categories. Third is trend direction, upward or downward. This shows strong analytical thinking in very few words, which is perfect for time limited speaking. Notice how the response quickly identifies strongest versus weakest, compares relative gaps, predicts future implications, and ends with clear conclusion. This is efficient analytical speaking. This slide is extremely important for confidence. If your mind goes blank, use generic informative sentences. Apply the 3W rule. What type, what shows, and what stands out. Keep speaking fluently at all costs. Because, again, fluent vague speech beats silent perfection. This example proves something powerful. Even with minimal understanding, you can still deliver a complete fluent answer using safe description, general comparisons, and structured conclusion. This protects your fluency score. Improvement requires deliberate practice. Key drills include 30-second scan training, chunked speaking practice, speed keyword mapping, recording and self-analysis, and describing random real-world images. These drills transform describe image from fear to automatic skill. This slide gives a complete preparation roadmap. Week 1, templates plus simple charts. Week 2, line graphs plus tables. Week 3, processes plus maps plus storytelling. Week 4, full timed exam simulation. And success is measured by starting quickly, speaking full for 35 to 40 seconds, and covering multiple key features. This is systematic mastery, not random study. Finally, the exam day truth. To maximize your score, identify image type instantly, mention about 6 key features, use intro, body, conclusion, speak fully for 35 to 40 seconds, avoid pauses and fillers, and prioritize clear pronunciation over exact numbers. Also remember the myths. Mentioning every number is unnecessary. Short answers reduce fluency score and silence is never acceptable. Instead, use structure plus fluency plus clarity, which will lead to a high score. The sample responses that I have used in this section 2, that you should pause for a while and read properly in order to imbibe and digest the content so that it can provide you with more insights. Because in examination, I don't think it would be possible for any candidate to provide responses of this quality. That is understandable because these are ideal responses. But you can gain knowledge and insights, and you can definitely elevate your performance levels. Let's begin with a powerful truth. In PT Describe Image, your score is not determined by how many words you know, it is determined by whether you choose the right words at the right time. As shown on slide 1, the formula for a band 90 delivery is very clear. Strong verbs, rich adjectives, precise prepositions, and academic nouns. When these four elements combine, your response immediately sounds fluent, academic, and exam friendly. Think of vocabulary here like engineering parts. If one component is weak, your entire response sounds basic. Here's core mindset for students. They should not focus on vocabulary quantity. They should focus on precision. They should not aim for speaking fast. They should speak academically. Your goal is not to speak more. Your goal is to sound more academic in fewer seconds. The six pillars of a high score. Nouns give content weight. Weak speakers say things, stuff, people, but strong speakers say segments, components, categories. So, exam impact is it improves lexical resources. Verbs show movement. Verbs create analytical energy. Instead of saying went up, went down, use surged, declined, fluctuated. Exam impact is it improves range and precision. Third is adjective. Adjectives add texture. Adjectives prevent robotic speech. Compare increase with significant increase. Exam impact is it improves description quality. Fourth, adverbs. Adverbs answer how much, how fast, and how clearly. For example, increased significantly, rose sharply, declined gradually. Exam impact is it improves academic tone. Prepositions. Prepositions show spatial intelligence. This is the hidden band 90 weapon. Examples. In the foreground, at the top, between 2010 and 2020. Exam impact is it improves accuracy and naturalness. Linking words. Last. Linking words ensure flow. These create fluency continuity. Examples overall, moreover, however, for instance. Exam impact is improved oral fluency. Top scorers don't just speak, they strategically balance all six pillars. This slide is extremely important because nouns form the semantic backbone of your response. Let me explain in a simple way. Avoid using weak nouns such as things, stuff, people, place, and adopt strong nouns such as components, individuals, environment, distribution, proportion, segment, configuration, structure. Why are weak nouns dangerous? Because they signal to AI low lexical range, informal register, and lack of precision. And if one uses strong nouns, they instantly make the response sound academic and analytical. A band 90 example is provided below. The diagram illustrates the distribution of various demographic segments. Why is this powerful? Because it contains two academic nouns. First is distribution and another is segments. It also consists of a formal verb illustrates. This slide divides verbs by image type, which is exactly how Band 90 thinkers operate. First, graphs. These verbs describe numerical movement. Increased, declined, fluctuated, remained stable, peaked. What you need to understand is when numbers move, so use movement verbs. Second, processes. Process diagrams require passive technical verbs. Is processed, is transferred, is converted, undergoes. Here we have used passive voice. Why passive voice? Because process diagrams focus on what happens, not who does it. Third, images. Depicts, illustrates, presents, highlights. These verbs signal academic observation, not casual description. A band 90 example is provided below. The sales figure increased significantly over the period. Why this scores high? Because a precise noun is used, figure, a strong verb is there, increased, an academic adverb is present, significantly, and a correct time phrase is there, over the period. This slide targets the most common Band 65 problem, basic verbs. Instead of saying went up, say searched, climbed, and escalated. Instead of went down, use plummeted, declined, or dipped. Instead of shows, try to use illustrates, depicts, or demonstrates. Instead of uses, say utilizes or employs. So don't use everyday verbs that are typically found in conversational English. Use academic verbs that we should be using in PTE English. A Band 90 example is provided below. The unemployment rate plummeted sharply after 2020. Why this is powerful? Because it consists of a vivid verb, plummeted, a precise adverb, sharply, and a clear time marker after 2020. This sentence sounds data driven and analytical, which the PTE AI loves. Next, descriptive adjectives. Adjectives prevent robotic speech. If we want to depict size, we can use adjectives such as significant, substantial, minimal, considerable, marginal. If we want to explain patterns, we can use steady, gradual, sharp, dramatic, consistent. If we want to talk about image atmosphere, then we can say busy, crowded, modern, organized, industrial. A band 90 sentence is provided below. The chart shows a significant increase in production. Now, why such statements should be utilized? Because it consists of a formal noun, chart, an academic verb shows, and a precise adjective significance. This slide introduces what I call the band 90 polish layer. Adverbs are small but extremely powerful. Adjectives describe nouns and adverbs evaluate change. Category 1, trend adverbs. Significantly, sharply, gradually, steadily, marginally, dramatically, moderately. These basically show how something changed. Now, when to use which one? If some big change is there, then you can use significantly, dramatically. If the change is fast, you can use sharply. If the change is slow, you can use gradually or steadily. And if the change is small, you can use marginally or moderately. This creates precision thinking under time pressure. Category 2, certainty adverbs. These improve analytical tone. Clearly, evidently, apparently, likely, possibly. These are especially useful for maps and photos when exact data is not given. A band 90 example is provided below. The figure increased significantly during the final year. Now, why it scores high? Because it consists of a precise noun figure, a strong verb increased, an academic adverb significantly, and a correct time phrase during the final year. A common student mistake here is students often stack too many adverbs, such as increased very sharply, significantly. No, instead, just try to remember one strong adverb beats three weak ones. This is one of the most underestimated band 90 multipliers. Prepositions. Prepositions prove spatial intelligence to the AI. First, location prepositions. These are used for images and maps. In the foreground, in the background, at the top, at the bottom, on the left, on the right, in the center, adjacent to, between, among. Here's the mental scanning strategy you can use. First, analyze foreground, then center, then background, and in the end, edges. This creates structured description flow. Timeline prepositions for graphs. From to, between and over the period, during, throughout, since, until. These signal temporal awareness which boosts content score. A band 90 example is provided below. The main building is located in the center of the campus. Why this statement is powerful? Because it consists of passive structure, precise location phrase, and formal noun. This slide is about fluency architecture. Linking words are categorized into four logical functions. Vocabulary builds sentences, linkers build flow. First category, moreover, furthermore, additionally, besides. Use these when adding another observation. Second category, however, whereas, in contrast, on the other hand. Use these when highlighting differences. Third category, initially, subsequently, thereafter, finally. These are best for the diagrams where sequence is there, such as circular flow process charts, linear flow process charts, cycles. Fourth category, overall, in summary, to conclude. These are used for summarizing or giving conclusion. A band 90 flow model is provided below. It starts with overall, then moreover, however, and in summary. So this is basically your fluency skeleton. Now, a common mistake that students make is over usage of and. Students tend to use and frequently. Try to replace and with moreover, additionally, and whereas to avoid repetition. Next, articles and determiners. These are invisible errors. These tiny words heavily affect grammar score even though students ignore them. A few examples are provided on the screen. I have highlighted articles and determiners with the help of orange color. Just go through these examples one time. Articles don't impress examiners when correct, but they punish you heavily when wrong. You can use a or an when you are not talking about something specific. If you are talking about something specific, use the. And if you are pointing towards something, then you can use this or these. A bend 90 example is provided below. The diagram illustrates a significant increase in production. Why this is excellent? Because it consists of two articles. First is the, another is a, and a strong verb and adjective combo. Now we enter bend 90 grammar territory. This slide emphasizes that passive voice is essential for process diagrams and maps. And this is absolutely accurate. In Describe Image, passive voice sounds more academic than active voice. Why? Because most academic descriptions focus on what happens and not who does it. The passive formula is provided on your screen. Subject plus is or are plus past participle. Now this is of simple present tense. A few examples are provided as well. Is located, is positioned, is connected, and others. When to use passive voice? Now the usage depends on image type. If process diagrams are there, then you can use passive voice. If maps are there, then you should use passive voice. But if graphs or photographs are there, then uh, it depends on how the elements are arranged in the diagram. Typically, in graphs, we tend to use active voice, and in photos, in all the cases, we don't use passive voice. Okay, or we even sometimes tend to use a mixture of active and passive voice. That depends on how the diagram is. A bend 90 example is provided below. The raw material is processed in the central chamber. Now, why such statements score high? Because it consists of correct passive structure, a technical verb, precise location phrase, and formal tone. Common mistakes that cost student their score are missing auxiliary or wrong usage of past participle or overusing passive in simple graphs. Just try to avoid such errors. Next, analyzing data relationships. For this, we use comparatives and superlatives. Before delving into comparatives and superlatives, one needs to possess knowledge of adjectives. Because after you understand the concept of adjectives, you can understand the concept of degree of comparison, which consists of three different degrees: positive degree, comparative degree, and superlative degree. So, first understand adjectives and then you can get clear understanding of this concept. Now, a few of the comparatives are provided on the screen. Use comparatives when two categories are being contrasted. Let's take an example. India recorded a higher figure than China. This shows analytical thinking which boosts content. A few superlatives are provided as well. Use superlatives when one category dominates all others. A Band 90 example is provided below. Let's analyze it. Germany recorded the highest figure among all countries. Why this is powerful? Because it consists of correct superlative, proper comparison phrase, a formal noun, and analytical tone. This is one of your strongest Band 90 strategy slides. Every time when you are practicing or providing responses in Describe Image, don't start off with the graph shows because repetition signals limited range. Here, four excellent alternatives are provided. So let's go through them one by one. First, there is a noticeable increase. This is good for opening variation, but don't overuse it. Second, it can be observed that sales rose steadily. Why this is worthy of Band 90? Because it has impersonal academic tone, it aids in avoiding repetition and sounds analytical. Third example, accounting for nearly 40%, housing dominates. Now this is high level grammar. Participle clauses equals to instant sophistication boost. Last example, the category which recorded the highest figure was. Now this is excellent for complex variety sentences. Students should rotate patterns. Don't memorize a single example or a single pattern because in practicality you need to use multiple patterns. This slide is your pre-exam rapid review sheet and it is very well structured. Before the exam, your brain needs ready to fire vocabulary clusters. Here I have provided such nouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs, preposition and linkers which can be used frequently for almost all the diagram types. While practicing, what you can do is pick one word from each column, build one sentence, speak it aloud. This creates automatic Band 90 phrasing. And whenever you are making sentences, then obviously you need to check the accuracy. So try to incorporate tools such as Grammarly or some grammar checking tool with the help of which you can identify errors. So basically this will help you in ameliorating your grammar score. Now the execution strategy. This is your exam time action blueprint. Vocabulary knowledge means nothing without execution discipline. The 8-step speaking protocol is provided below. Start intelligent, avoid basic movement language, describe magnitude and pattern, quantify the change, show spatial awareness, maintain fluency flow, protect your score from invisible errors, and last, critical timing insight. If you speak under 25 seconds, then you will get less content score. If it is over 40 seconds, then obviously fluency risk is going to be there and it simply shows that you haven't prepared properly. You haven't utilized the 25 seconds time that is given for preparation properly. Instead, what you can do is try to balance the response between 30 to 35 seconds. That is more appropriate. In PT Describe Image, Band 90 is not luck. It is controlled vocabulary plus structured delivery plus calm execution.